Okay, so I have a review for The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. I have the large print version. It's just what was at the library. And this one's 588 pages. It's a sequel to The Handmaid's Tale. So Margaret Atwood wrote The Handmaid's Tale in 1985, and it was widely successful. She usually writes about a variety of things. Early in her career, there was a big focus on feminism, and The Handmaid's Tale, if you haven't read it, without any spoilers, of course, is kind of about this religious cult where they have different roles in society, and one of those roles is to be a handmaid, which is if a husband and wife are unable to have a baby, they hire, or not really hire, she doesn't get paid, but they bring in a handmaid to do the deed with the husband, have the baby, and then they say, see you later. So they're basically surrogates. And they have like no rights. A lot of them die in childbirth, and it's really not a great life. So that's the first book. We follow Offred, she's one of the handmaids. And then Margaret Atwood wrote The Testaments in 2019 as the sequel, and it's one that I don't know that she really planned to write, but she did a great job doing it. So this book follows three perspectives. We have Aunt Lydia, so she's one of the higher ups, I guess you could say, in this cult. It's called Gilead, or at least that's how I pronounced it in my head. We have Agnes. She's one of the younger girls in the cult. She's still finding her way, sort of thing. A lot of them get married off when they're about, 13, 14, 15. And we start the book where she's around, I think, 13 years old. Then we have another person, Daisy. She's not in the cult. She's actually like outside, but she's connected to it somehow. She has these parents that are very secretive. They run a thrift shop, and yeah, those are the three main characters. So the book is mainly about what happened to this cult. You know, how did it fall? How did it fail? What's the outcome of it? And so we follow these three characters throughout it to try to figure that out. I thought it was a really great book. She still kept that feminism tone to it, but updated it. So, with a lot of things in society right now, we're a little bit beaten to death by a lot of extreme liberal thoughts and things like that. Feminism kind of goes in with that, with the Me Too movement and whatever. So, Margaret Atwood does it very delicately, and she adds her own social commentary in it. It's not very explicit, but when she describes Canada, it's very, I don't know what the word is, dismissive, I guess you could say. I mean, she's Canadian, I'm Canadian. This country sucks now, and she has no qualms about suggesting that it's, not that great. Another big theme in Margaret Atwood's writing is being consumed. We see that a lot in her book called Surfacing. In that one, there's a girl that lives in Quebec, and she's trying to find her father that went missing, and there's a whole bunch of different ways a woman can be consumed through photography, acts, that sort of thing. And we see a lot of that in this book too. Women in this book are not seen as equals to men. They are seen as a means to an end. So they create babies, they listen to orders, they're consumed in a different way. So I liked how she was able to tie these older themes with a more updated book. Another book that really covers the concept of being consumed is The Edible Woman, also by Margaret Atwood, so that's good too. So what I liked about this book was how it all tied together. I mean, I haven't read The Handmaid's Tale for probably close to 10 years, and it didn't matter. It was still came back to me very vividly, and it was just a really enjoyable read. The writing has a flow to it that's a lot different than other books, I find. I just finished reading Whalefall, and it's like night and day between that book and this book. Margaret's writing is very lyrical, poetic, but also very blunt. She's not afraid to swear or, just say it how it is if that's the type of character that she's writing. So we have some extremes where Daisy is, she's not the one in the cult, but she's very brash, a little harsh. And then the people that are inside the cult are very, mind your manners sort of people. The only complaint I have about this book is I was a little bit lost at the beginning, not for what's going on in the story, but for the characters. So there are three different perspectives, and I found it a little bit confusing at first who was who. I got Aunt Lydia and Agnes kind of mixed up, the two people from inside the cult. And then when Daisy came on, I didn't realize that we had a different character right away because it didn't really start off as saying, like, oh, hey, I'm Daisy. Here's the situation. So it took a little bit for me to wrap my head around it and get into the book, but once I did, it was really enjoyable and I highly recommend it. So you don't have to read the first book to read this one, although it does help with the worldview, but you still get so much out of this one that if you want to try a Margaret Atwood book, this is a great place to start. So I know I'm late to the party, so let me know what you guys thought of this book if you read it, and if you like Margaret Atwood, what's your favorite book? Love to know. Mine's surfacing.